A false alarm from West Coast Civil Defence that warned the alpine fault could be about to rupture, which is a big thing, has been labelled as irresponsible and sparked calls for a review. Last night's warning, signed off by the Regional Civil Defence head, Chris Rain, said there was a heightened risk because of last week's earthquake near Culverden. The warning, which has since been well and truly retracted, has left a sour taste in the mouths of many coasters. Conan Young reports.
The urgent warning took the form of a press release from West Coast Civil Defence Group controller Chris Rain and said that the GeoNet seismograph drums had been very quiet in the past few days. It said in contrast the alpine fault had been generating a series of small earthquakes and that Civil Defence was monitoring this area closely. It asked West Coasters to stock up on enough food, water and medicine for 7 days and strongly urged people to be prepared. The Wellington-based Director of Civil Defence, Sarah Stewart-Black, says the scientific advice is there is no heightened risk of an aftershock along the alpine fault as a result of the quake near Kaikoura.
There was a lot in the release that was not factually correct. There is a need to ensure that public information is consistent and coordinated, which is why I'm looking for the Chief Executive of the West Coast Regional Council to ensure that this doesn't happen again. The statement was retracted and there was an apology issued, so I'm very pleased to see that.
There were reports of water and bread selling out at some West Coast supermarkets in the wake of the warning. The Grey District Mayor, Tony Cockshawn, says Civil Defence West Coast acted irresponsibly.
So it's important they don't spook the public out there who are very on edge at the moment. We know we've got a big fault line down in the Southern Alps, but that has no relation to what's going on at the moment. So people need to be assured that there's nothing to panic about.
Tony Cockshawn says he's been taking calls from tourism operators asking if they should be cancelling bookings in light of the warning. He says this is the last thing businesses need heading into peak season, and he's confident the same mistake won't be repeated.
This is a major mistake, and he will be talked to, and there will be put in place a pecking order that makes sure that he has to report to the right people and go through the right channels before he makes media releases.
Chris Rain's boss is the West Coast Regional Council Chief Executive, Michael Meehan. He says an apology has now been issued.
No person other than experts should make any of those kind of predictions. So, as our role in this is in a civil defence response role, and we use the information that the people like GNS put out. We don't make predictions.
Michael Meehan refused to say if Chris Rain would face disciplinary action, but confirmed he was still in charge of civil defence for the region.
Chris Rain has got a lot of experience in civil defence. This has been a mistake, and I think we've gone a long way to rectify it. And look, we'll sit down and talk about it.
Tony Cockshawn is calling for a review of the way civil defence is organised to prevent local branches from putting out releases independently of civil defence in Wellington and sending out mixed or confusing messages to the public. For Checkpoint, ko Conan Young tēnei.